Sahil Joshi joins us. He heads Mumbai coverage. Maharashtra Bureau Chief Sahil, who's winning Maharashtra? What's your collective sense from the ground telling you, all the stringers, the reporters, the big team? Sahil's one of Maharashtra's big political pundits. So batao, kaun jeet raha hai?
Well, Rahul, I don't think that even the political Chanakyas and Pandits sitting in Delhi also can predict Maharashtra at this point of time, because the situation in Maharashtra is that there are 6 parties contesting against each other. They have clubbed together in 3 and 3. The vote share difference between the two alliance partners is hardly 0.7%. Looking at the scenario, it is most difficult at this point of time to predict Maharashtra. But for the benefit of our viewers, let me keep the ground situation at least in front of them. The Lok Sabha election clearly showed edge to Mahavikas Aghadi. If you superimpose the Lok Sabha results in Assembly, 163 seats where Mahavikas Aghadi is leading at this point of time, and 127 seats where Mahayaui is leading at this point of time with the difference of 0.7% vote share. Exactly opposite of what happened in Haryana. The vote share difference between the Congress and the BJP was almost similar to 0.8 to 0.9%, and the BJP got 10 more seats than that of the Congress. But this 0.7 vote difference of the vote share has given an edge to Mahavikas Aghadi clearly, because the the areas like Western Maharashtra, Marathwada and Vidarbha, the Mahavikas Aghadi had almost 90% of the result in their favor, and that is the reason why they could manage to get 31 seats and lead in 163 assembly segments. Now, what has changed since Lok Sabha? On one hand, the Mahayaui government started declaring one after the other what the Prime Minister calls the Revdi schemes in Maharashtra. The first scheme announced in the Maharashtra cabinet was the with 46,000 crore budget specifically kept for the Ladki Bahin, the Ladli Behna scheme like Madhya Pradesh, 3 free cylinders to women, then apprenticeship scheme for the young unemployed youths who are looking for jobs. And after that, even after that, various corporations were declared for various castes and combinations in OBC. The creamy layer of the OBC segment was increased from 8 lakh rupees to 15 lakh rupees. And let me tell you a very interesting fact. Just half an hour before the Maharashtra, the Election Commission press conference started, Chief Minister of Maharashtra declared bonus for the state government employees, for the BMC employees, as well as bonus to the kindergarten teachers and the ASHA workers. So, that is what the Mahayaui government has done. They have put all their might behind the schemes, the funds, to ensure that 0.7% vote share should tilt towards Mahayaui. On the other hand, the Mahavikas Aghadi is looking at the better seat sharing this time, not the way it happened in Lok Sabha. Maximum possible vote share to the Shiv Sena and the Congress within each other, and accommodative nature, so that they can continue with the performance they had in Lok Sabha. But end of the day, what I feel is that alliance will win, who will ensure a smooth vote transfer to their respective alliance candidates, not the party candidates, the alliance candidates. They will have an edge. And that's what we are looking at. For the BJP,
so let's build on the point that Sahil is saying, because this becomes very crucial, Yashwant, vote transfer. Now, we've already seen in the Mahayaui a problem in trying to transfer the Ajit Pawar faction vote, right? BJP voters very unhappy with wanting, and enough people have spoken about it publicly now, so unhappy having to vote for an Ajit Pawar candidate. And to some extent, vice versa as well. That perfect chemistry is not there. We saw that in the Lok Sabha elections. How much of a factor it remains in the assembly elections will also be very important in determining what finally happens.
Absolutely, and it certainly is evident that from the Lok Sabha election that the same kind of chemistry problem wasn't really there as far as the residual votes of Shiv Sena on the Uddhav Thackeray side remains, because they are very loyal to Uddhav and they actually voted even for the Congress, or for that matter even NCP. And the Congress, NCP voters did vote for Uddhav's candidates all along. So it seems that the chemistry problem had more to do over there in the NDA camp rather than the other way. Yeah, having said that, it's also important to understand that the Shinde Sena's actually surprising performance in the Lok Sabha election was also an eye-opener, that he actually kind of managed to carry a larger part of Shiv Sena votes with him.
No, it can also be counter-argued that the BJP managed to transfer its vote to Shinde's candidates, and Shinde's candidates didn't necessarily manage to transfer the vote to the BJP's candidate. That's the problem. And therefore, Rajdeep, this whole idea of vote transfer, who's able to transfer how much of the base vote to the new formation, really becomes critical in determining, which is also why you and I have both been saying that it's very difficult to predict, because it will depend on how much vote transfer happens on that big one T20 final day. It's not like a 5-day match, it's a 1-day Arya Par ladai.
Absolutely, Rahul, and it's not just about vote transfer, it's also about what happens in a Vidhan Sabha, which is a much smaller constituency with possibly multipolar contest, compared to a Lok Sabha, which was much more a direct contest between the two alliances, and all the smaller parties and independents got squeezed out. So you've got fragmentation taking place on one hand in a Vidhan Sabha, because there will be multipolar contests everywhere. Just imagine, I am a Shiv Sena UBT aspirant for a ticket, but that seat goes, for whatever reason, to the Congress kitty. What do? Do I contest the election or not? If I contest, can I also bring in my voters? So it's not just about base votes of political parties. It's also the base vote of individuals. And that's why Vidhan Sabha will be different to a Lok Sabha. In the Lok Sabha, we saw that by and large there was greater vote transfer among the Mahavikas Aghadi parties than it was in the Mahayaui, and the BJP paid a price for it. You could argue, if you recall, Devendra Fadnavis also said that in an interview to you during the conclave, where he said that the Ajit Pawar vote had not come in any manner to the BJP. But in the Vidhan Sabha, the other additional complication is, what about the votes of individuals and smaller parties? If there is a Vanchit Bahujan Aghadi candidate, a VBA candidate, and there is a small Ambedkarite Dalit community there, where will that vote go? Even Owaisi is contesting, as he will in some seats of Maharashtra. Will the same Muslim vote that went possibly to the MVA in the Lok Sabha go to an Owaisi candidate? The BJP already is trying to create a divide, OBC versus Maratha, trying to consolidate its OBC vote in the hope that, like in Haryana, where the Jat vote got fragmented, the Maratha vote gets fragmented. So there's fragmentation also, along with consolidation. And that's why it's a nightmare. I mean, I would
also,
not
Sahil, we saw in that interview we did,
trying to predict what happens in Maharashtra in terms of seats.
With Fadnavis, he spoke of how opposition leaders, he didn't name Sharad Pawar, but the insinuation was clear, were trying to prop up Jaranje and prop up this Maratha agitation. Is that matter now fully settled? How do you see it likely to play out in Maharashtra? In Haryana, we saw Jat versus non-Jat consolidation. Can there be a Maratha versus non-Maratha consolidation in Maharashtra? Is that at all on the cards?
Well, interestingly, as we are speaking at this point of time, just yesterday night, Eknath Shinde's senior minister, Uday Samant from Eknath Shinde Shiv Sena, went and met with Jarange Patil. And, he was trying to make some kind of a understanding with Jarange Patil. The details now, Jarange Patil is having a press conference just a while back. He hasn't changed a bit. It just yet to decide whether Jarange Patil is going to put candidates in Marathwada region or some other parts of Maharashtra or not. But interestingly, the way it happened in Haryana, the Congress was banking completely on the Jat-dominated votes and Jat seats, whereas in Maharashtra, the Congress has, the Mahavikas Aghadi has, combination in every parts of Maharashtra separately. Like in Mumbai, Konkan and MMR region, it is Shiv Sena UBT who is going to fight with Eknath Shinde Shiv Sena. In Vidarbha and Marathwada, that it's going to be the Congress who is going to take on the BJP. But in that segment altogether, in Marathwada, they are banking on the Maratha votes. But in Vidarbha, it is Dalit, they call it DMK combination. Dalit, Muslim and Kunbi. Kunbi is a major segment from a major caste in Vidarbha region from the Maratha, from the OBC community, and that is where what the Congress is trying to make something of. So they are banking on Vidarbha on a different combination. So in Western Maharashtra, the Maratha-dominated NCP is going to take on the NCP Ajit Pawar. The NCP SP is going to take on NCP Ajit Pawar. Sharad Pawar is running that particular campaign of Maharashtra Pride. Interestingly, all three parties, Uddhav Thackeray, Sharad Pawar and Congress are running this campaign of Maharashtra Pride. So, you know, they are trying to
so let me pause that for a moment.
Every caste segment.
That's an important point you make, because Rajdeep, at this time in rural Maharashtra, there are these vans that are doing the rounds. I saw some photos and videos which basically make the point that a lot of projects which were coming to Maharashtra have gone to Gujarat. So this Maharashtra versus Gujarat element is being played out. They're saying whether it's Foxconn or other industrial projects which have been announced for Maharashtra was snatched by Gujarat. Now that's a subterranean kind of activity the MVA is doing. Do you see it having much purchase in the assembly elections?
You know, again, there is another distinction, therefore, that one must draw, Rahul, based on what your question, which is rural versus urban. Maharashtra is one of the more urbanized states in the country, about 58% urban pockets and rurban, if you want to call them. There you can get some traction possibly for playing this card based on Maharashtra versus Gujarat. But, you know, you go to rural Vidarbha or rural Marathwada, I don't think it matters whether it's Maharashtra versus Gujarat. There, I think the level of agrarian distress becomes a huge issue. It was a massive issue in April, May, which was peak agrarian distress. Maharashtra has had a good monsoon. Maharashtra has also had a government which has brought in this Ladki Bahin scheme, and we don't know what impact it will have. It's another X factor. So both the scale of rural distress, Ladki Bahin, could be far more important in the end than Maharashtra versus Gujarat. You know, for example, when Baba Siddiqui died, I spoke to a Shiv Sena UBT leader who said, we are going to make law and order a big issue. Now, law and order based on Baba Siddiqui's murder may well be an issue in some pockets of Mumbai, but it's not going to be an issue across Maharashtra. The thing about Maharashtra is such a large state that I think there will be geographical specificities of issues. So an issue which works in a particular part will have zero resonance in another. Even the caste combinations change as you go from region to region. And that's what again makes it so complicated. So bringing it all together and making sure it works in a Vidhan Sabha is very difficult. Lok Sabha, yes, there was a clear gap in seats, but Rahul, again, look at vote share. In vote share, both the two combinations were almost identical to each other. There the MVA benefited. Now, in a Vidhan Sabha, it is even more nightmarish because as I come back to it, fragmentation will be even greater. So all these issues, I don't see a pan-Maharashtra issue playing out at the moment. I think there will be regional specific issues. Whoever captures those issues effectively, whether it's Rozgar, Mehngai, whether it's a farmer distress, whether it's Maharashtra, Gujarat, whether it's Ladki Bahin, all of it will play out, Rahul. And therefore, there is no one issue which you can call a pan-Maharashtra issue influencing this election.